We need to get serious on this topic. Now, I have covered this before on this channel, talking about the Hydra Clash system. I talked about it before it even came out, that there were fundamental problems with the Hydra Clash, that if they didn't resolve it before the game mode came out, it would cause significant problems. It would make the whole thing a meme, and it would be a serious issue. And it's actually proving to be a bigger issue than even I thought it would be. So what am I talking about? If you don't know, there is a Hydra Clash event. I don't know where you've been if you haven't seen it. Maybe you're not in a high-ranking clan. And the idea is 5 clans get ranked against each other. The clan that deals the most amount of damage basically wins the tournament, the weekly tournament. It happens every week. And then if you do a certain amount of personal damage, which is about 650 million for the top chest, then you will get rewards, which give you stone skin accessories, protection accessories, and basically 1/4 of a primal shard, that amazing primal quartz that we get. Now, this seems like a very good game mode on the face of it, in the sense that clans have to work together to push their Hydra keys to get the most amount of damage out of it and to improve as a clan. Work together. That is the concept. That is the whole point of it. That is what's good about it. You have to work together to achieve outcomes, and if you work together and you contribute your own points, then you get good rewards. Now, the problem is Corpulent Cadaver, and I am almost to the point where this is going to kill the game if they don't deal with it. It's the worst release they've ever done. They're putting their head in the sand, and I'm frustrated. I'm so frustrated that they refuse to do it and deal with it. It's so obvious what they need to do. It's so easy to fix it, and they are just being stubborn and not doing it, and it's actually detrimental to the game health by a big margin. Now, you might be thinking I'm being dramatic, Saf, you're being emotional, why are you saying all this? Let me explain the reasons why it's causing problems, okay? So this is our Hydra Clash this week. This is the situation here. So you can see we've come third with a respectable 21 billion damage. Now, we've got 71 keys used in the clan. That's the most of anyone else in this competition. Every person gets 3 keys, so that's 90 keys. So we've got around about 70 to 80% participation in the clan, you would think. However, there's clear fundamental problems here. So the way that you have to be eligible to actually even participate in Hydra Clash is there is like a 6-hour window between the Hydra Clash ending and the new Hydra Clash starting. And if you don't get your clan roster sorted in that 6-hour window, anyone who joins after the fact cannot take part. Now, normally this would be, it's punishing the player. This is actually punishing the clan, because essentially our clan lost 4 members, 4 keys, which is 12 keys in total. So our maximum key usage was only 78. So actually our participation in the clan is like 95%. You can see apart from 2 people here, everyone has contributed at least 3 or 2 keys. So our clan contribution is really, really good. The problem is these members here did Hydra, but they joined after Hydra Clash started, so they're ineligible. Now, everyone might be saying, well, that's fine, because you don't want people Hydra Clan hopping, you don't want them doing 1 key in every single one, inflating. Absolutely, I agree. We don't want members finding a way to abuse the system. But most clans that I know that are in serious kind of top 100 positions run in clusters, and they normally have systems in place where some people move up or down depending on whether or not they want to play clan versus clan aggressively. We have a system in our clan where people can put higher points up and then move up to a higher clan, or if they want to take it off, want to take a break for a couple of rotations, they can move out of the clan and basically chill. Now that's healthy for the game, right? That's healthy for a community. We have 4 to 6, maybe even 7, I've lost track now, full clans of members, depending on what they want to do. Do they want to do Hydra? Do they want to do clan versus clan? Do they just want to be a casual player? Do they just want to be part of it? That is healthy for the game, but you are punishing clusters because they cannot help their clan members, our cluster members, move to where they want to play the game, because this has to happen so very efficiently, almost within the hour. They have to almost get in there straight away. It's just terrible. And then the other side of that is, if you take the cluster argument away, if you're a clan and you've lost a few members and you want to try and recruit a new members, that new member has to sit out an entire week's rotation of rewards. They lose out on the rewards because they're ineligible. The clan loses out on the damage because they're ineligible. And then you would just end up in the situation that we've got here, where we're 71 out of 78 keys because 4 people are ineligible. So this kind of rule set needs to change. I think the simplest solution is they need to allow 24 hours after a Hydra Clash before they draft another Hydra Clash. That is probably the simplest solution they could do. The other solution they could do is you have to like kind of like lock yourself into this is the clan I want to compete with, so that if you do swap, then you can't, join it, then you're ineligible. But just having eligibility based on present in the clan at the time of Hydra Clash starting is not working for a lot of clans. It's causing a lot of negativity, and that is one point that is causing people to not want to play the game anymore, because they're getting frustrated that they're losing out on rewards because the game mode doesn't let them play it. And that's always a bad sign. So that's the first thing I want to call out here, is this eligibility thing is causing clan clusters specifically and other people from recruiting a problem. They cannot replace members they are losing because of this eligibility issue, and they have to manage it very specifically. So I think this just needs to fix. I think a 24-hour window probably is the best way. So basically give clans more time to get their clan in order, and then they get locked in for the next Hydra Clash. The Hydra Clash runs on a 6-day program, 1-day cooldown. That seems to be fair to me. I don't think there are many people. There are some people who prefer it. There are not many people that basically instantly do Hydra, and it probably is not going to hurt them if they have to wait 1 day if they want to compete. I think that's absolutely fine. Now, as you can see, we've done 21 billion damage, and in our clan, we do have some cadaver abusers, right? There's a couple of people here. OVG, we've got, I think, Do Work has done one here, is at 1.6 billion. We do have a few because they're feeling pressured to do it. Everyone that I've spoken to about this cadaver team doesn't want to do it. Even the people that are pushing it to the absolute extreme do not want to do this. They think it is bad. They think it needs to be nerfed. The people that are very strong advocates for an infinity comp, I've spoken to them on direct messages. I'm not going to reveal what I've said because obviously that's direct messages, but the general consensus that I'm getting is nobody would be upset if someone came along and swiped a ban hammer at cadaver. But look at the problem here, right? So we were motivated. We were thinking at the start of Hydra Clash, okay, we're going to have 4 ineligible. This is going to be difficult, but we were actually winning for a while. We were feeling pretty good. And then this happened. This happened. This one guy came along and put 15 billion points. 2.9 billion damage from Corpulent Cadaver. And his contribution is 75% of our entire clan's contribution in one key. You might be wondering, okay, well, that's just one guy. That's not even the craziest key I've seen. I've seen Callus from Tomb of Nazanin. I always mess up their clan name. Apologies if I do. Has managed to hit 33 billion. I think Victor Tess has hit 32 billion now because they're hitting on Nightmare, so obviously they can get a higher multiplier. This is not good. This is killing the game. Because what is happening, and let me show you the reason why it's killing the game. People are going to Hydra and wanting to compete. They want to play in Hydra Clash. And then they look at this and they go, I can't compete with that. That's boring. I don't want to build this team. I really can't compete with that. Then they look at it and go, well, if I can't compete at all because the game mode is trash and Plarium won't do anything about it, then what's the point of playing Hydra at all? And then when they stop playing Hydra, they go, well, if I'm not doing Hydra, what is the point of playing any of the other game modes? And then they stop playing the game. And then once they've stopped playing the game, they generally might not come back. So this one little issue here is one of the big problems right now in terms of player motivation and player morale in the game. They're seeing this and they're going, well, clearly a rare champion is not meant to do 2.9 billion damage in a competitive clan-based mode, right? It's not even like it's close to the next best team. I've seen some really crazy teams in here. Like if you look at this Nightmare team, he's got an Acrisia, he's got a Michinaki, a Supreme Gaelic, and Gnu, and he can't even get 200 million here. It's not even close. This has to be fixed, Plarium, okay? This is just going on too long. Fair enough if you wanted to take a week to have a think about it in terms of, is there a way we can get around it? There isn't, okay? I'm being very direct and very blunt and very, probably a bit too aggressive with my statement here. You have to nerf Cadaver. There is no other solution. I've seen people give me loads of ideas. They've come forward with, well, what if you cap the turn limit? And I'm like, well, that just punishes every team that needs to go longer because they don't have big damage dealers. So that's not really fair. You know, that's basically nerfing 75% to fix one champion. And then other people said, well, what if you don't extend shields? It's like, well, that basically kills every kind of other person who wants to grow shields, right? someone who might want to have a shield continuously extending, well, that just destroys that comp overall. So instead of nerfing one champ, you've now nerfed an entire set of champions or entire set of teams. Other people have said, why don't you nerf the Brogni's A2? I was like, well, you're nerfing a champion. Because the fundamental argument they've come out with is, we don't want to nerf a champion to fix this problem. And my counter to that is, there is no solution other than nerfing the champion that is creating the problem. You did it with Emic. The moment you saw Emic was doing abusive things, you capped his damage before he even came out in game. You've nerfed Orogrim in the past. You nerfed Mystilic Priest Ornn in the test server. You rebalanced Geomancer to fix some bugs, but you did kind of like mess that around a little bit as well. You've reworked Rotus a number of times. You've reworked Torment a number of times. There is not a lack of precedent for fixing champions. We bug fixed Nogdar when he was one shot in the boss. This is basically the same thing as Nogdar bug for me. The definition of a Nogdar bug is a bug that completely ignores the boss's mechanics and defeats it with very little effort or energy. And this is kind of a similar mechanic. Now, I will say, to get these numbers, you have to put a lot of effort and energy, right? We've got +1 6-star Yumikos. You need to have good gear. I'm not saying that there's not a scale of quality in terms of building this team. What I'm saying is, you can build this team with very little effort, and it will still outperform the best non-Cadaver teams in the game by quite a margin. This champion needs a nerf because he is ignoring the Hydra game mechanics. You don't need to bring anything here. Look, you have no block buffs. You have no decreased attack. You've got a decreased defense and weaken purely for damage. You know, you've got no real kind of like revivers in here. You literally have everything you need to make Cadaver do a lot of damage. And then you just keep killing heads. So you ignore the consumption mechanic, pretty much. You ignore the every single heads mechanic. So something that ignores game mechanics is bugged. And you have to bug fix it. And the only way you can bug fix it is you fix the Cadaver. Now, here's how you fix the Cadaver. You put a cap on his A1. The way that it is working, essentially, is Cadaver is inflicting damage based on the strength of his shield. He deals 30% bonus damage to the enemy based on the shield value. Now, this doesn't work with crit damage. You can't make it crit, so it's essentially just bonus damage, which means it's even easier to build, because essentially you just build him for, like, basic stuff. Just build him with, like, HP. So the solution to this is this damage cannot exceed more than 1% of the boss's max HP. Problem solved. You can still make it 1 key clan boss. You can still probably make it hit 200 million. I think that's absolutely fair. You put a cap on this based on the clan boss to basically go, this cannot do more than 200 million in clan boss. That is how you fix it. It's simple. It would take one line change. Value caps already exist in the game. There are plenty of other champions, like Seer, for example, that cannot exceed a certain amount of damage. There is the enemy max HP champions. They cannot do 10% more than boss's damage. If it was a game design philosophy that nukers could do 2 billion damage, then every single enemy max HP wouldn't have to face a boss passive that caps the damage that enemy max HP nukers can do by 10%. But they do, which means that this champion should have it also. That is the simplest solution, because if you fix Cadaver, then any other shield growth champion you want to create no longer has to have the question, but does it make Cadaver even more OP? Because that is what you have at the moment. Everyone is talking about the new Panda Fusion as, can we now make it work even stronger with Cadaver? Can we make Cadaver even crazier? And it's just unhealthy for the game, because people are dropping like flies from these clans because they just cannot face Hydra anymore. They cannot face working extremely hard to build some very good, very competitive Hydra clan boss teams. You know, we've got some really good teams here in this cluster. Like Kavala here has got a great Nightmare team. He's done 115 million using Gnut and Supreme Galek there. It's really well built. We've got a couple of other people here. We've got 188 million here within a Crizia team and Gnut team. So we've got some really interesting teams being picked. There's a 62 million here with Whisper. This is where Hydra Clash and Hydra should be fun, where you're using champions you wouldn't think that would be very good, but actually perform quite well. You can see here we've got a Turvold and Harima on hard at 154 million. His Nightmare team is using Gnut. Gnut is very popular. It's a free champion, obviously, but he's got double Husk Gnut, so he's gone a different route here, Fox has. So this is where it's good. Like Shooter here, for example, has got 151 million with his Gnut Michinaki at the moment. So for me, this is where Hydra is good. There's a diverse set of teams that you can build different champions. You have 6 slots. It has more space. Like, for example, Shooter here is running Razelvarg. And I've seen some Razelvarg do some crazy numbers. But nothing can compete with this stupidity. One person being able to contribute 75% of our entire clan's damage because he has double Yumiko is unhealthy for the game. And when players in our clan look at it, they go, why did I bother? Why should I bother? And that is a dangerous sentiment to have. So I've been talking for about 15 minutes on this. I'm very, very frustrated by it because it's almost like Plarium have got their head in the sand and they just like make the noise go away when it's very simple. I think you would have very little backlash if you just cap the Corpulent Cadaver. You can still make it a relevant team. It can still do 100 million on Brutal if you wanted to, because that's balanced, right? It can still be a good team. I'm not saying nuke the Infinity comp. I am saying cap it so it can't do billions of damage. That's all I'm asking for. One simple code line change. In there, add a value cap and make it so you play test the value cap to around about 200 million in Clan Boss and no more than 100 million on Brutal. You need to make it so that the game mechanics have to work. If the game mechanics can be ignored, then it's bad. It's imbalanced. It is not good. Simple as. Fundamental. It's very basic. I don't understand why it's such a difficult concept for experienced game developers over Plarium to understand that this is killing your game, because it is the worst implemented competitive game mode that they have ever released into the game by quite a margin, because it is so imbalanced. So Plarium, please fix Cadaver in the next patch. You still have time. You haven't built the patch just yet. You may have the champions coming out in the next couple of days or whatever. You have time before the patch goes out to place a fix for Corpulent Cadaver. It is almost to the point where it needs a hot fix. That's how bad it's got right now. You need to do something about it. And the longer you let it go on, the worse it's going to get and the more it's going to deteriorate the morale of these clans, my clan cluster included, in terms of pushing and trying to make this a fun game mode. Because the whole point of this was clan coordination, and you've turned it into a meme fest where you don't even get good rewards from the primal quartz. You get 1/4 of a primal shard. So let's claim our rewards here and we'll see what we get out of position 3 on Ornate Argent Chest. We got 20 primal quartz. Not even 1/5 of a primal shard. Well, that's going to be an instant sell. That's okay. We are after like protection-based Sylvan Watchers, not Stone Skin. We want protection Sylvan Watchers, and we're not getting it, unfortunately. So that's a bit frustrating, because I do want to try and make an Emic 9 out of 9 protection for some content. So these rings are okay. I mean, pretty much the 5-star is going to be almost instantly sold, I would have thought. I'm keeping it at the moment because there's not a lot of sets that I have available to them, but 5-star gear for a player of my level is just instant sell. It's instant sell. Less clan gold that one chest gets from Hydra Clash. It's not good. Let's get the rest of our Hydra rewards here as well. You can see that the value of the actual chest is way better than this. You can see we get more clan gold than we get on the Hydra Clash chest. Even the top chest, this one normally always overrides that. So you get more clan gold from just playing Hydra. So there we are. A bit of a rant video. I'm probably a little bit overly invested in the video, in the sense that this week we were having a pretty good run of it, and then one key pops up and it just destroys all of our motivation. But seriously, Plarium, you know, if you take your game seriously, if you care about game balance and game health, and you are invested in delivering a high quality balanced game that is fun for players, you have to fix this. Like almost yesterday. It is going on too long. The more you leave it, the worse it's going to get, because people are going to start investing in this team, and then you're going to nerf it, because you're eventually going to have to nerf this champion, because there is no other answer for it. You know, you can try and swing around the houses. Either you just completely rebuild Hydra Clash from the ground up with a different model, which you're not going to do, or you just come in and you cap one champion's ability. It's much easier to do the latter. So you're going to do it, but the longer you leave it, the more people are going to build this team, and then the more backlash you're going to have because you left it so long. So please, put a cap on this skill. Let us be able to enjoy Hydra Clash a little bit more and actually give our team a chance at winning by actually playing, rather than forcing every single player who wants to win Hydra Clash into building one team and one set of champions, because it is just boring. It's stale. It's not even fun to run. It's not even engaging. It's just a bad system. That is the end of the rant video, guys. Let me know in the comments below if you share my opinion that this needs to be fixed by the next patch at the very latest, which is in a couple of weeks' time. This should be a high priority for me. Let me know if it's a high priority for you. If anyone else has any other suggestions other than what I've suggested here, I know the 3 that I've mentioned is capping turn limit. There is another one which is capping the fact that you can't grow a shield duration. That's been listed as a suggestion. so that you can't keep extending the shield, which is obviously the way you do this. I think a couple of other people suggested maybe you need to cap sort of the damage growth on Brogni's A2. Let me know if you have any innovative ideas. If you do, I will absolutely forward them on to anyone that I can within the Plarium network that is obviously going to listen to me. I obviously am not in the creative program, so I don't have much insight or much like ability to send it over. All I can do is put this video out there, try and get enough attention to it, try and create enough noise about it that eventually someone in Plarium is going to fix it. They've listened to my videos in the past because they fixed champions that I've mentioned that are bugged in the past, so maybe they will also listen to this video. But that is also dependent on, you know, people actually coming together and saying, look, this is a big problem for us, we will stop playing the game if you don't fix this, because I think that's where we've got to right now. There you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments below, and I will catch you in the next video.